Welcome to Back Lincoln Currency, a deep exploration into one of the most intriguing, often misunderstood, yet incredibly captivating pieces of American numismatic history, the 1977 1-cent coin. A coin that, at face value, is worth a single penny, yet in the world of collectors, treasure hunters, and rare coin enthusiasts, it holds stories, legends, mysteries, and speculation that stretch far beyond its copper shell. Could a coin that's minted by the millions, weighing only a few grams and held in the pocket of nearly every American during its time, truly be worth $543 million today? We're about to peel back every layer of history, detail, metallurgy, myth, and market dynamics surrounding this small but mighty piece of currency, and by the end, you'll understand why some believe it holds not only monetary value but also historical significance that transcends generations. Let's begin by traveling back to 1977. America was in a period of transition. Jimmy Carter had just taken office. The Cold War tensions simmered in the background. The cultural landscape was marked by disco, Star Wars, and the fading shadow of Vietnam. It was also a time when inflation loomed, gas prices were rising, and the value of a dollar was beginning to shift. Amidst all of this, the United States Mint continued its duty of producing currency for the nation, including the humble 1-cent coin. But this wasn't just any coin. The 1977 Lincoln penny, as it's commonly referred to, was a continuation of a coin series that began all the way back in 1909, when the Lincoln cent was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin became iconic almost immediately. The 1977 version of this coin is often categorized as ordinary, largely because it doesn't boast an obvious error or mintage anomaly at first glance. It was struck in large numbers. Over 4.4 billion examples came out of the Philadelphia Mint alone that year, with additional coins produced in Denver. However, beneath the sheer volume lies an intricacy that makes specific versions of this coin extremely desirable. The 1977 penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, consistent with the standard alloy used for pennies from 1962 until 1982, after which the composition was changed to predominantly zinc due to rising copper costs. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. The coin features the familiar right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," arching above his head, "Liberty," to the left, and the year, 1977, to the right. If minted in Denver, the letter D appears beneath the date, indicating its origin. The reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial, flanked by the words, "United States of America," and the motto, "E pluribus unum." At the bottom, it says, 1 cent, a bold statement of value that belies the coin's potential worth in rare cases. So how does a coin like this, minted in the billions, rise to such astronomical levels of alleged value? The answer lies in scarcity, or rather, perceived scarcity, and the various anomalies, varieties, and unique characteristics that can manifest during the minting process. For instance, certain 1977 pennies have been discovered with double dies, especially in the lettering or Lincoln's features. These doubling errors are extremely valuable to collectors, particularly if the doubling is prominent and appears on both sides of the coin. Coins like these, if preserved in high grade with minimal wear, can command thousands of dollars on the open market. But even more enticing are unconfirmed or exceedingly rare varieties rumored to exist, such as transitional errors where the wrong composition or planchet was used, or proof-like strikes from unauthorized dies or presses. These are the unicorns of numismatics, and their value is entirely dependent on their rarity, condition, and provenance. One of the more persistent rumors surrounding the 1977 penny is the existence of an ultra-rare prototype or test strike made of different metals, possibly aluminum, bronze, or silver, intended for internal mint use or as part of a trial for a future composition change. While the U.S. Mint has never officially confirmed the existence of such variants for 1977, stories persist of off-metal strikes that were somehow released into circulation or retained by Mint employees. If such a coin were to surface, authenticated beyond any doubt, and verified as unique, it could feasibly fetch tens of millions of dollars at auction. And this brings us to the notion of the $543 million penny, a staggering number that has circulated on forums, YouTube channels, and collector websites. While no such sale has ever been recorded, the idea persists that somewhere, somehow, there is a 1977 cent so unique and rare that it holds nearly $500 million in collectible value. Is it true? Not likely, but the myth alone fuels dreams and motivates metal detectorists, collectors, and estate sale scavengers to check every penny they come across. Even in ordinary circulated condition, some 1977 pennies have fetched surprising sums due to specific minting anomalies. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and repunched mint marks are among the error types that elevate a common coin into something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A high-grade MS-67 or better coin with full red coloration, a designation used by grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, can also command significant premiums simply because of its pristine preservation. There's also the emotional and historical appeal of the coin. Collectors often find personal meaning in pennies. Perhaps it's the symbolism of Lincoln, a president synonymous with unity and perseverance, or the fact that these coins are often the first pieces of currency we handle as children. Pennies are humble, ubiquitous, and yet oddly magical in the way they seem to disappear and reappear in our lives. For investors, the copper content of pre-1982 pennies represents a tangible asset, since the metal is worth more than the coin's face value. While it's currently illegal to melt pennies for their copper, that hasn't stopped people from hoarding rolls and boxes of old coins in anticipation of a day when that restriction is lifted. The collector market for the 1977 penny has also been buoyed by internet speculation, YouTube influencers, and viral videos claiming incredible values for common coins. Some of these videos cite actual auction results, such as a mint-condition 1977 D penny selling for over $7,000, while others stretch the truth to generate views and ad revenue. The $543 million claim, in particular, appears to be a hyperbolic or satirical reference, perhaps inspired by misunderstood listings or currency translation errors. However, it has taken on a life of its own, becoming a modern urban legend in the numismatic community. It serves as a kind of North Star for treasure seekers, the idea that an ordinary object can be extraordinarily valuable if only you're lucky enough, or sharp-eyed enough, to find the right one. For the serious numismatist, however, value lies in more than just monetary worth. A coin like the 1977 cent represents a snapshot in time. Its design tells a story of American ideals. Its composition reflects economic realities. Its errors and imperfections are a testament to human fallibility and the chaotic brilliance of mass production. And its survival, decades after minting, is a mark of endurance. If you hold a 1977 penny in your hand today, you're touching a piece of history that has weathered nearly half a century of change, from payphones to smartphones, gas lines to electric vehicles, analog to digital, disco to streaming. Collectors often seek out coins with special characteristics that make them stand out. In the case of the 1977 penny, such standouts include coins with extraordinary luster, perfectly struck features, minimal bag marks, and original red color. PCGS and NGC both use sophisticated grading criteria to determine a coin's condition, and top-grade examples with MS-67 or better grades can be extraordinarily rare. The red color designation, RD, indicates that the coin retains at least 95% of its original mint luster, which is critical for investment-grade coins. Coins designated RB, red-brown, or BN, brown, tend to fetch less but still have collector interest. So what can you do if you think you found a valuable 1977 penny? First, inspect the coin for any signs of doubling, misalignment, or unusual coloration. Compare it to known images of mint errors. Then, weigh the coin using a precise grams scale to ensure it aligns with the standard 3.11 grams. If it's heavier or lighter, it might be struck on the wrong planchet. Next, consider having the coin graded by a professional service, especially if it appears uncirculated or has unusual features. Slabbed coins, those sealed in plastic cases with grading labels, are far easier to sell and authenticate. Lastly, avoid cleaning the coin, as this can significantly reduce its value. Even though the idea of a $543 million penny may be exaggerated, the dream it represents is very real, and it fuels an entire industry of collectors, dealers, graders, and enthusiasts who find joy in the hunt, the history, and the hope of discovery. Every year, new rare coins are discovered in pocket change, piggy banks, and estate sales, proving that even in the age of digital currency, physical coins still hold fascination and potential. The 1977 penny, for all its apparent ordinariness, sits at the center of this cultural phenomenon, a symbol of curiosity, value, and the enduring power of small things to make a big impact. So the next time you come across a penny from 1977, don't just toss it aside. Hold it up to the light. Examine its details. Consider its journey. Think of the hands it has passed through, the pockets it has warmed, the gumballs it might have bought, and the secrets it might hold. Because in the world of coin collecting, every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story is worth far more than its weight in copper. Whether it's $5, $500, or a legendary $543 million, the value of a coin lies not only in its metal, rarity, or market, but also in its meaning. As we move deeper into the remarkable world of the 1977 1-cent coin, we must consider not only the history, material, and anecdotal value of the coin, but also the infrastructure and entire economy that surrounds it, an ecosystem of graders, dealers, historians, auctioneers, counterfeiters, and collectors who treat each tiny copper disc like a potential holy grail. In this space, every detail matters, not just what you see with the naked eye, but what you see under magnification, through time, and in the context of minting history. The 1977 penny, in particular, becomes more than just a currency artifact. It's a keyhole into the vast machinery of numismatics, where even a micro flaw in the planchet, or a subtle double strike in a word, can launch a coin from pocket change to a five-figure treasure. To understand how value gets assigned to a coin like the 1977 penny, it's essential to examine grading in depth. The numismatic world is governed by strict grading scales, most notably the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1, poor, to 70, perfect. A 1977 penny graded MS 70 red, a theoretical perfect coin in full mint red coloration with zero blemishes or wear, would be an extreme rarity. Very few exist in that condition. Even coins at MS 66 or MS 67 are uncommon, especially with no spotting, toning, or strike weakness. Most coins minted for circulation were not handled delicately. They were tossed in bags, poured into hoppers, shipped across the country, and ultimately used for everyday transactions. A coin surviving in pristine mint state is more than luck, it's survival against the odds. Now, professional coin grading companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, serve as the ultimate arbiters of quality. When a coin is submitted for grading, it undergoes microscopic inspection, authentication, and attribution. Any errors are catalogued, such as die cracks, die chips, doubling, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and more. Coins that are encapsulated, or slabbed, by these agencies are then assigned a numeric grade, along with designations like RD, red, RB, red-brown, or BN, brown, reflecting the oxidation state and visual appeal of the copper. The grading label also includes mint location, error information if present, and sometimes provenance if the coin has historic significance, but with the explosion of the rare coin market, especially online and in televised auctions, came a rise in counterfeiting. And even something as seemingly low value as a 1977 penny is not immune. Sophisticated forgeries exist, some made by altering coins, others cast from molds. Unscrupulous operators have learned to take a lower value error coin and upgrade it by manufacturing a flaw or altering the date or mint mark. The stakes are surprisingly high. A single forged 1977 double die penny could yield thousands of dollars if sold to an unsuspecting buyer. That's why authentication is so critical in today's market, and why experienced collectors demand provenance and grading reports before making high-dollar purchases. A key area of exploration for serious collectors is mint variation. In 1977, two U.S. mints struck the Lincoln cent, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, while Denver minted coins are marked with a D below the year. While both types were produced in huge quantities, over 4.4 billion in Philly and more than 4 billion in Denver, each facility had its own dies, workers, and maintenance schedules. That means errors in one location may not appear in the other. The Denver Mint, in particular, is known for more visible repunched mint marks, RPMs, due to the nature of how dies were hand-punched at that time. A repunched D, where the mint mark appears doubled or slightly misaligned, can turn a common penny into a rare and valuable piece. This is where coin roll hunting comes in. Across the country, thousands of amateur and professional collectors routinely obtain boxes of pennies, often $25 boxes from banks, and go through them coin by coin, searching for errors, high-grade examples, or pre-1982 copper coins. The allure is simple: for a minimal investment, one could potentially find a coin worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. This grassroots method of treasure hunting has led to major discoveries, including rare error coins, proof coins mistakenly mixed into circulation, and even foreign planchets struck by mistake. For the 1977 penny, roll hunting remains a fruitful activity. Many pennies from that year are still in circulation, and despite being over 45 years old, new varieties continue to surface. Beyond circulation coins, there are also proof coins, high-detail, mirror-finish specimens struck specifically for collectors. These were not intended for circulation, but in rare cases, proof coins have escaped into the wild due to packaging errors, theft, or mishandling at the mint. If a 1977 proof penny without the typical S mint mark, San Francisco, were to surface in circulation, its value could be astronomical, depending on condition. Likewise, any 1977 cent struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime, nickel, or foreign blank, becomes instantly collectible. In fact, a 1977 D penny struck on a silver dime planchet once sold for over $10,000 at auction due to its uniqueness and dramatic visual differences. Another fascinating angle is the world of mint errors caused not by mechanical failure, but by human oversight or experimentation. There are whispers in the coin community about 1977 pennies that were trial strikes for potential metal composition changes, such as aluminum, bronze, or even steel. While the U.S. Mint officially abandoned the aluminum cent project in the 1970s due to opposition from the vending machine industry and medical X-ray concerns, prototypes were created. If any 1977 test strikes were retained or later surfaced, they would be museum-level finds, possibly fetching millions. It's these theoretical coins, the ones just out of reach, with stories of hush-hush leaks and insider knowledge, that fuel the $543 million valuation rumors. Could a single prototype, long lost or deliberately hidden, actually reach such value? In theory, if it were a one-of-a-kind historical specimen with legal documentation and public provenance, the sky's the limit. The market for rare coins, like the 1977 penny, is also affected by broader economic trends. During periods of inflation, economic uncertainty, or dollar devaluation, physical assets like rare coins often become more attractive to investors. Unlike stocks or digital assets, a coin is tangible, historical, and unique. It can be held, stored, insured, and appreciated, not just in monetary terms, but in cultural and artistic ones. This is why major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections routinely fetch massive premiums for high-grade Lincoln cents, especially rare varieties and early-date issues. The best specimens are placed in private collections, investment portfolios, or displayed in exhibits, and then there's the mythos, the pop culture fascination with the million-dollar penny. Over the years, media outlets have covered stories about pennies allegedly worth thousands, or even millions. Some claims are real, like the 1943 copper cent, or the 1955 double die, while others are inflated or misunderstood. In the case of the 1977 penny, certain YouTube videos and social media posts have gone viral claiming the existence of a $543 million specimen. While no such coin has been verified, the attention has elevated the year to almost legendary status. Every estate sale, coin show, and family heirloom box becomes a potential discovery zone. What's more important than chasing sensational headlines, however, is developing the eye of a numismatist. That means understanding die stages, learning how to spot hub doubling versus mechanical doubling, identifying zinc rot versus planchet flaws, and keeping up with auction results and census data. For example, if PCGS reports only 2 coins graded MS-67RD for the 1977 D penny, that gives a precise picture of rarity in the top population tier. When one of those coins hits the market, competitive bidding can drive the price up exponentially, and let's not forget the community. The world of coin collecting is fueled by thousands of dedicated people, not just wealthy investors, but everyday hobbyists, history lovers, and passionate archivists who gather at local coin shows, online forums, and social platforms to share finds, compare errors, and celebrate victories. The 1977 penny holds a special place in that community, not because it's inherently rare, but because it sits on the knife's edge of possibility. It's the perfect blend of common and mysterious, ordinary and potentially extraordinary. Anyone might have one. Everyone is looking. As we continue this journey, remember that value isn't always measured in dollars. The 1977 penny represents a piece of America's past. It was minted in a decade defined by political change, economic shifts, and cultural transformation. And despite being small, brown, and largely forgotten by modern commerce, it remains a symbol of durability, legacy, and hidden potential. Whether or not you believe in the $543 million rumor, the deeper truth is that coins like this still have the power to capture imaginations, ignite obsessions, and turn casual curiosity into lifelong discovery. And so, we press on, deeper into the world of copper, steel, myth, and metal. Every 1977 penny holds a question. And somewhere, out there, may lie the answer that rewrites the record books forever. The saga of the 1977 1-cent coin continues not only through its material and monetary interpretations, but through the curious human psychology that surrounds it, the emotions it evokes, the stories it inspires, and the decisions it influences among collectors, historians, and those who've never even considered themselves numismatists until one unexpected penny dropped into their hands and stirred something ancient and inexplicable: the hunt. At the core of it, the 1977 penny represents a clash between what we think we know about value, and the hope that hidden among billions lies something immeasurably rare, a fragment of history slipped into circulation, waiting to be found. As we return again to the idea of value, it's vital to examine where these staggering numbers come from. How do we go from a 1-cent piece to $543 million? While the extreme figure likely originated as clickbait or hyperbole, the root of such exaggerations is not entirely unfounded. It lies in the way the rare coin auction market operates. At the top of this pyramid sit auction houses, globally respected institutions like Stack's Bowers, Heritage Auctions, and Sotheby's. These houses cater not just to collectors, but to high-net-worth individuals, investors, and legacy builders who see rare coins not just as artifacts, but as trophy assets. To the uninitiated, it might seem ludicrous that a copper coin barely bigger than a thumbnail could trade for 6 or even 7 figures. But history proves otherwise. Coins like the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle sold for over $18 million. The 1794 Flowing Hair dollar broke $10 million. And even a well-known Lincoln cent, the 1943 bronze, fetched over $1.7 million in recent years. These sales set precedents. They ignite interest. They show that rarity, provenance, condition, and mystique, when aligned just right, can justify monumental valuations. And the moment a myth enters the collective consciousness, such as a 1977 penny rumored to be unique or struck in error on an exotic planchet, the bidding becomes not just about the coin, but about the narrative attached to it, inside the industry, rumors often originate not from collectors, but from mint insiders, former employees, contractors, or even family members who once had access to restricted areas of the minting process. Over the decades, whispers have surfaced about unreported test strikes, misstruck coins smuggled out in lunch boxes, or unauthorized coins deliberately created by mint workers. Some of these tales have turned out to be true, like the legendary 1974 aluminum cent or the 2000 W. Sacagawea mule error. These events feed the possibility that something similar could have occurred in 1977, and that the proof is still out there. In the coin community, these rare finds often surface in the most unexpected ways. Take for instance the story of a man in Arizona who purchased a jar of pennies at a garage sale in the early 2000s, only to find a 1969 double die obverse penny among them, worth over $40,000. Or the family in New England who, while clearing out their grandfather's attic, stumbled on rolls of mint-condition Lincoln cents dating back to the 1950s, several of which were later sold to collectors and museums. These are not isolated incidents. Every year, average citizens find coins worth thousands just by paying closer attention to what most people overlook. Could the 1977 mega penny be waiting in a bank roll, a mason jar, or an abandoned drawer? It's not impossible. Technology has also transformed the way collectors interact with their coins. Tools like USB microscopes, high-powered loupes, precise digital scales, and spectral imaging allow collectors to examine coins at extraordinary detail. Using these instruments, it's possible to detect microscopic doubling in the lettering of a 1977 cent that would be invisible to the naked eye, the telltale sign of a double die or hub error. Similarly, coin diagnostics can identify planchet flaws, improper alloys, and machine doubling, distinguishing true valuable errors from common damage. Even the way a coin reflects light, its luster, can determine whether it's mint state or circulated. Advanced coin photography now allows collectors to share high-resolution images instantly across forums, grading platforms, and auction listings, building networks of knowledge and verification. As collectors deepen their understanding of the 1977 penny, they also place it within the broader arc of the Lincoln cent's evolution. First struck in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the Lincoln cent was revolutionary. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic representation like Liberty. Brenner's design became iconic. In 1959, the wheat ears on the reverse were replaced with the Lincoln Memorial, an image that remained until the bicentennial redesign in 2009. Thus, the 1977 penny sits in the middle of this lineage, neither old enough to be seen as antique, nor new enough to be modern. It belongs to a period of transition in U.S. coinage, where design, material, and mintage practices were shifting, but coins are more than history and metal. They are cultural mirrors. A penny carries with it assumptions of smallness, worthlessness, neglect. That's what makes the 1977 cent so poetic. In a world rushing toward digital currencies and cashless economies, it whispers a forgotten truth: value is not always obvious. A 1-cent coin can tell you more about a nation's economy, politics, and people than a $100 bill. And sometimes, it can be worth more too. For many collectors, the appeal is emotional. A coin like the 1977 penny might evoke a memory, the year a child was born, a first job, a gift from a grandparent. People collect what connects them. Coin collecting is rarely about greed. It's about curiosity, nostalgia, and the human desire to hold time in your hands. That's why certain coins, like the 1977 penny, continue to generate waves of renewed interest every few years, especially when new varieties are discovered or existing examples sell for surprising amounts. Yet, as in any industry, controversy exists. Some have accused grading companies of inflating populations, of shifting grading standards over time, or of playing favorites with major dealers. The coin market is, at its highest level, a mixture of art, science, and marketing. When a top-grade 1977 penny sells for $7,000 or more, some ask whether it's the coin itself that commands the price, or the story told around it. Others believe that population control, the strategic grading of only a few high-quality examples artificially boosts scarcity. And when coins are resubmitted multiple times to grading companies in the hopes of obtaining a higher grade, the ethics of the market grow more complex. Still, the chase continues. Coin shows across the U.S. regularly feature rows of dealers with trays of copper cents, many priced far beyond face value. Online auctions end in bidding wars for coins most people would pass over without a second glance. YouTube videos boasting million-dollar titles rack up millions of views. And through it all, the 1977 penny holds its place as one of the most frequently searched coin years on the internet. It has become a symbol of hidden value, of modern numismatic mythology. Collectors continue to speculate, will the rumored $543 million penny ever appear? Could there be a one-of-a-kind error that changes everything? Will a proof strike from 1977, previously unknown to the public, emerge from a dusty drawer or a sealed safe? Could an experimental alloy prototype, long forgotten by the mint, surface at an estate sale or coin show and shock the world? These questions aren't just hypothetical. In the world of coin collecting, history is always waiting to be rediscovered. So when you examine a 1977 cent, whether you find it in your pocket, your floorboards, or a coin album, take a closer look. Is the rim perfectly round? Does the lettering show any doubling? Is the mint mark repunched or missing entirely? Does the color glow red, red-brown, or brown? Is the weight exact? Does it ring with the right sound on a copper plate? Each of these details is a clue. Each might be a gateway into a deeper story. Perhaps even one worth hundreds of thousands, or, if the legend is true, $543 million. But beyond that dollar figure, there is something more profound. Coins like this remind us to slow down, to look closer, and to reconsider the overlooked. In a disposable world, the penny asks to be seen again. In a society focused on big numbers, fast transactions, and digital everything, the 1977 penny, simple, tangible, and persistent, says, wait. There's more here than you think. In the world of coin collecting, discoveries don't just happen, they send ripples across communities, forums, auction houses, and sometimes even international headlines. In this part of our journey into the mystique of the 1977 1-cent coin, we explore those ripple-making moments, real stories and imagined possibilities, that show us how a coin minted in the billions could still be the rarest of them all. We'll begin with true stories that have shaped modern numismatics and then journey into the hypothetical, what it would look like if the rumored $543 million 1977 cent were suddenly to appear. Let's begin with the known and the verified. In the past decade alone, a handful of 1977 pennies have sold for thousands of dollars, depending on their condition, coloration, and error type. One such example, a 1977 D. Lincoln cent graded MS-67 red by PCGS fetched a hefty $7,050 at auction. What made it valuable? Not an obvious error, not a dramatic misstrike, simply its state of preservation. It was the best-known example of a Denver-minted 1977 cent in full red color with no imperfections visible under magnification. In the world of high-end coin collecting, a single grade point increase, say from MS-66 to MS-67, can triple or even quadruple the value. But once the population of a certain grade hits a plateau, say only one or two coins known, those coins become virtually priceless to competitive collectors who want the finest known set. Other examples include 1977 pennies with verified double dies, particularly in the motto, "In God We Trust," or the word "Liberty." Though not as famous as the 1955 or 1969's double dies, these coins still carry premium value if the doubling is sharp and the coin is in good condition. Similarly, coins struck off-center or with planchet flaws, such as laminations or clips, become unique items, and their values rise accordingly. Each of these coins, when verified, graded, and marketed well, has found buyers willing to pay thousands for a cent that's functionally identical to one worth only face value. That paradox, the line between nothing and everything, is the very heart of what makes the 1977 penny so alluring. Now imagine this: a quiet, rural collector, a man who spent years roll hunting, not for fame, but for peace of mind, opens a roll of unsearched Lincoln cents purchased from a yard sale in a fading, dust-covered town. He's sorting through the pile when something catches his eye. A coin that looks off. A 1977 cent, yes, but the color is wrong. It's pale, unusually light. He places it on a precision scale, and the weight is off by half a gram. He flips it. The reverse design is razor sharp, as if it were proof-struck. The edges are slightly squared, not rounded. With shaking hands, he slides it under his USB microscope. There, doubling in the date. But not just doubling, tripling. The coin's metal shines not like copper, but silver. A faint gray-white hue. And the surface texture isn't zinc or copper. It's unfamiliar. Could it be struck on an experimental planchet? Something left behind from the mid-70s aluminum trials? Or a unique composition never released to the public? He contacts a local coin dealer, who initially dismisses the piece as a plated fake. But the weight and visual diagnostics can't be ignored. A call is made to NGC. Within a week, the coin is overnight, insured for a speculative amount. The graders are intrigued. Under X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy, the results are shocking. The coin is composed of 92% nickel, 5% manganese, and trace elements of titanium, an alloy never officially recorded for any U.S. cent. The die matches a known 1977 obverse with a Philadelphia die marker. But the strike is unusually sharp, suggesting a proof die strike on an experimental blank. The graders confirm it, the only known 1977 Lincoln cent struck on a nickel-titanium alloy, possibly a prototype created during a secret material durability trial. Within weeks, numismatic news sites explode. Discovery of the decade, headlines read. Unlisted alloy penny from 1977 could fetch millions. Heritage Auctions issues a statement. The coin is placed on the roster for the fall signature sale. Collectors from Dubai, Hong Kong, and New York enter private negotiations before bidding even opens. At auction, after 12 minutes of competitive floor and online bidding, the hammer falls, $16.1 million, a record for a modern Lincoln cent. The collector, stunned, walks away with a life-changing sum. But more than the money, the story ignites renewed interest in the 1977 cent. Suddenly, YouTube creators, bloggers, and numismatists descend into their coin jars. Banks experience unusual penny withdrawal patterns. Coin shows see spikes in attendance. And a new legend is born, not $543 million, perhaps, but enough to make anyone think twice before tossing a penny aside. Though this story is fictional, it's based on real dynamics in the rare coin world. Errors like mule coins, where two different coin designs are struck together, have appeared and sold for massive figures. Unintentional planchet substitutions have occurred. Experimental metals have been discovered in circulation decades later. The 2000 Sacagawea $/Washington quarter mule is a perfect example, an error no one believed could exist until it showed up, and eventually sold for hundreds of thousands. What's important to understand is that the line between legend and reality in the coin world is razor thin. And in the case of the 1977 penny, no official record, no mint memo, and no public confirmation can ever fully erase the possibility of a one-off anomaly having slipped out into circulation. Now let's pivot briefly into the realm of grading strategy. If you believe you found an unusual 1977 penny, maybe it looks double-struck, unusually shiny, or off-colored, the first step is preservation. Do not clean it. Do not touch it with bare hands. Place it in a 2x2 coin flip or airtight capsule immediately. Then, photograph it under good lighting. Next, weigh it on a jeweler's scale to the 100th of a gram. Document everything. Then, submit it to a grading company, but don't just choose any. Some collectors prefer NGC for moderns, others lean toward PCGS for registry set points. Include notes about what you believe the coin may be. Use insured shipping and request error attribution services if you suspect doubling, repunching, or alloy errors. What happens next could change everything. If the grading company confirms an undocumented error, let's say a transitional planchet or a new double die, you're not just a collector anymore. You're part of numismatic history. The coin is listed in auction catalogs, updated in price guides, added to registry sets. It becomes a reference piece, and your name, if you choose, is attached to that discovery forever. The feeling of being the one who found what others only imagined, that's the magic of this world. Economically, the market surrounding coins like the 1977 penny has grown more structured in recent years. Major coin investment firms package high-grade coins into tangible asset portfolios. Hedge funds, wealth advisors, and even some banks offer rare coins as inflation hedges or legacy assets. Coins graded MS-67 or higher with low population reports are especially attractive because they combine scarcity with historical value. And while most 1977 pennies won't crack four figures, the few that do, whether because of condition or error, can become trophy coins for serious investors. This economic structure adds another layer to the story. When a penny becomes a six-figure item, it no longer operates as currency. It becomes part of a private museum, an investment portfolio, a historical archive. It changes hands carefully, through dealers, specialists, and high-security courier services. And it becomes part of a larger, more complex conversation, about trust, about expertise, and about how we assign value to things we've always taken for granted. And so the 1977 penny remains at the edge of possibility. Every year, its myth expands. A new variety is discovered. A higher grade is registered. A video goes viral. A collector finds something strange and submits it for grading. A forum lights up with speculation. Could this be the one? Was the $543 million coin a joke, a lie, a placeholder, or something more? Whether the number was ever real is almost beside the point. Its very existence planted a seed, and now every collector who picks up a 1977 penny wonders, what if? This is the world the 1977 cent now lives in, a world of secrets, stories, and searches. It is no longer merely a piece of copper struck in a mint more than 4 decades ago. It is a symbol, of value unseen, of meaning overlooked, and of the endless human urge to discover. And if the rumors are ever proven true, if the ultimate 1977 penny does surface, it won't just break the auction house records. It will rewrite the very definition of what something worth 1 cent can truly be. There's something profoundly human about holding on to small things. Things we assume have no value to others. A pressed flower, a movie ticket, a child's crayon drawing. And then there's the penny, the lowest unit of American currency, so often discarded, swept into jars, forgotten in car ashtrays, embedded in sidewalks, or rattling in junk drawers. Yet among these cast-off tokens, stories bloom. The 1977 penny is no longer just a coin. It has become an artifact of memory, obsession, and quiet ambition, a symbol not only of value but of discovery, and perhaps most importantly, of potential. To understand why people hoard pennies, especially the pre-1982 copper ones, we have to step inside the mindset of a certain kind of collector. Not the investor looking for quick flips, not even the historian interested in coinage laws or metallurgical transitions, but the quiet accumulator. The person who, without fanfare or audience, methodically fills gallon jugs with sordid cents. Who stashes them in garages, under beds, in lockboxes. They are copper guardians, amateur economists, and some believe they're preparing for the day when melting coins for their metal value becomes legal again, when the copper content, already more valuable than the coin's face value, might be freely cashed in. But there's more than economic rationale here. There's psychology. A deeply ingrained tendency to search for meaning in repetition. For these collectors, it's not just about finding the one. It's about the meditative ritual: flip the coin, check the date, inspect the mint mark, move on. Day after day. Week after week. Box after box. In a way, it's no different from the gold panners of the 1800s, the meteorite hunters of today, or those who scour antique stores for mispriced heirlooms. The modern penny hunter doesn't need a shovel, just patience, curiosity, and a decent magnifier. This behavior finds its greatest expression in the hunt for specific dates, like 1977. Mention this year to any Lincoln cent enthusiast, and you'll likely be met with a pause, that flicker of recognition. It's not as infamous as 1955 or 1969, yes, but its quiet presence on so many error lists and rumor forums makes it one of the most searched modern dates. Part of this stems from the belief that rare varieties remain undiscovered, that due to its enormous mintage, minor anomalies have been overlooked. And while official mint records don't indicate any dramatic errors from that year, collectors know better than to trust paperwork alone. History shows that some of the rarest U.S. coins, including mules, off-metal strikes, and unauthorized proofs, were never intended for public release. And yet, they exist. The hunt for such a piece often begins with forensic-level scrutiny. Real coin detectives look at the height of letters, the spacing between the 1 and 9 in the date, the thickness of the serif on the L in Liberty. They study flow lines, the microscopic ridges created by striking pressure. They compare coins under halogen lighting, blacklight, infrared. They take high-resolution photographs and cross-reference them with auction archives, population reports, and user-uploaded photos from forums dating back 20 years. In this process, pattern recognition becomes second nature. Some develop photographic memories of how Lincoln's cheek should look on a Philadelphia strike versus a Denver one. They can feel weight discrepancies with their fingertips. They become experts not just in coins, but in noticing what others miss, and they're driven by something deeper than money. There's an emotional reward in being the first to find something, to catch what millions missed. For the 1977 cent, every new find, even if minor, adds another piece to the puzzle. A previously undocumented die crack. A slight rotation in the reverse. An unusually weak strike indicating possible die fatigue. These are the breadcrumbs that lead some collectors down a rabbit hole for decades. Each detail recorded, compared, and archived. And one day, maybe, just maybe, one of these breadcrumbs leads to the mythic coin itself. The coin with an impossible strike, an unknown alloy, or a ghostly misalignment so unusual it defies standard minting logic. Yet while collectors dig into the past, the future looms over the 1977 penny and others like it. Across the U.S., there's growing discussion about phasing out the cent entirely. Canada has already eliminated their penny. Other countries followed. Economists argue that the cost to produce a penny, now more than 1 cent, is wasteful. That pennies slow down cash transactions, clutter wallets, and serve no real purpose in a digital-first economy. Retailers round their prices. Consumers tap phones. The humble cent becomes, increasingly, an artifact of a time slipping away, and yet, perhaps that makes it more valuable. The more society moves into the intangible, the more we crave the physical. In an era where money is digits on a screen, a coin becomes tactile truth. You can hold it, flip it, examine its edges. It doesn't disappear with a power outage. It doesn't require encryption. It doesn't exist on a blockchain. A coin is elemental, metal, weight, history, design. It's real. And it speaks to something ancient inside us, something that trusts what can be felt over what can be simulated. That's why collectors resist the fading of the cent. That's why they continue searching through rolls even as banks shutter their coin counters. That's why forums light up every time a new 1977 variant is rumored to exist. Because even as the world says, this isn't worth much, there's always that possibility, that somewhere, inside a penny jar, a small miracle lies unnoticed, and what happens if that miracle does appear? Let's follow the story forward again, this time into a fictional future where the legendary $543 million coin is real. A Midwest coin dealer, sorting through unprocessed inherited coins, finds a 1977 cent unlike anything he's ever seen. The date is bold, but instead of Lincoln's portrait, there's something else. A design never authorized. It resembles Lincoln, but subtly altered, a different profile, sharper relief, almost like a private engraving. The coin is struck in pure platinum, impossible. No record exists. The mint denies involvement. Experts confirm authenticity of strike and metallurgy. Historians speculate, was this a rogue mint worker? A secret design test? A ceremonial piece never disclosed, it enters the Smithsonian for temporary evaluation. Articles flood in. The numismatic world explodes. Speculation runs wild. Is this the lost vault prototype mentioned in an obscure 1970s Treasury memo? Is this the prototype created to test a switch to precious metals under economic duress? Was it smuggled out? Or was it planted for future discovery, a kind of time bomb left by a visionary mint engraver? When it finally goes to auction, collectors, celebrities, hedge funds, and even governments bid. Not for copper. Not for Lincoln. But for history, for the chance to own what should not exist. The final price? $543 million. The world record for any coin, any artifact, any object smaller than a postage stamp. It becomes a symbol, of mystery, of value, of the power we assign to objects. And it all began with a coin most people ignore. Back in reality, we may never see such a coin. Or we might. But either way, the 1977 penny holds a power few coins possess. It is the Schrödinger's coin of the numismatic world, simultaneously worthless and priceless until examined. Every one you find could be the one. That tension, that possibility, is what fuels the obsession. And in that obsession, millions find purpose, connection, and joy.so. Keep looking. Keep digging. Keep turning over the coins others ignore. Because whether or not you find the $543 million specimen, you'll be part of a story bigger than yourself, the story of curiosity, of history, and of the unexpected magic in something as small as a penny.